So now I want to talk about antidepressants. And I want to talk about my experience with them. And I don't begin to tell other people what is good for them. Everyone needs to make up, their own mind about what's good for them. I just wanted to share my story because I want to share it for people who may be in the same condition that I'm in. YouTubes have helped me like immensely with all aspects of my life, like home improvements, fixing my garbage disposal, to like fixing my life. So anyway, I love YouTube. I think it's an amazing tool for everyone. So I'm going to share my story. I had been on antidepressants for about, I don't even know how many years. I'm guessing about 5. And I really wanted to get off of them. I didn't want to be on them on the rest of my life. And I also wanted to be awake because antidepressants have you living outside of your body. You're either beside yourself. I call myself like above myself. So I was living up here and I wasn't really living in my body when I was on Paxil. And it was a very, very effective drug for that. And it served me extremely well. So what antidepressants ultimately do, so I've been told, is they calcify the reuptake inhibitors of serotonin in the brain. So that it was my understanding that the serotonin will stay in the brain and not reuptake as the brain is actually formed to do. So serotonin comes in, it goes through these reuptakes, and then it flows. It flows in and out of the brain somehow. I don't know how it all works. I'm not a neuroscientist. So, but anyway, so I had gone off, and this was my understanding for myself, was that the serotonin in my brain was like, oh, what is going on here? And in the process of healing, my brain was like, what is going on? And it had actually been damaged. My brain had been damaged by this medication that had calcified my reuptake inhibitors. So my brain was trying to figure out what in the world to do. And so what I found was that there were 2 camps. There were these, you need to take this medication, you will be on it for the rest of your life. And you are a drug addict and you need to get off of it immediately. And neither one of these points of view were very appealing to me, frankly. So the best opinion, or the best word that I had gotten, was from a dear friend who had suggested it was my choice. I always had the choice whether to take the medicine or not take the medicine. It was always my choice. And so I chose not to. I chose not to take the medicine every day. So I was making that choice because I wanted to be awake and I didn't want to be on this medication for the rest of my life. So it was a rough ride. I am not gonna lie. And in actual hindsight, I really wish that I had access to hemp oil or marijuana, frankly, because I think that it would have helped me immensely. And I think this is super interesting because I had talked to a mental health professional who had said that marijuana would make me even more paranoid, and I didn't need any more paranoia. But I know that some strands may do that, but not all of them. And so this is part of the way that the medication industry keeps us from going to something that may be better for us, at least for the time, so that I would have gotten through this a lot more easily. But this is just how it went down. So I was basically living in hell. I I couldn't do anything that I normally did. I couldn't watch TV. I could hardly take a shower. I couldn't handle stuff on my skin. I I couldn't sit. I had to be in constant movement. I felt like I was in post-traumatic stress, like panic attack, 24 hours of the day, every day. I moved into a time of absolute insomnia. There were days that I didn't sleep, sometimes 3 hours, sometimes 5 hours, but I I was dangerously low on sleep. And so, and then that, along with my previous video having to do with, I changed my diet, I saw a chiropractor. But with regard, oh, another thing I wanted to add was kombucha. I had heard about kefir on a Hay House summit. There was a woman, and I can't remember her name right now, but she had suggested kefir for stomach issues. So I started drinking kombucha because I can't have dairy. So I started drinking kombucha regularly, and that helps me a lot too. And there is a correlation between the stomach muscles and the brain. I mean, the stomach cells and the brain cells, that our brain can be affected by what we eat, which totally makes sense. So along with changing my diet and teaching myself how to sleep again, the biggest impact was Abraham Hicks had given me the idea to write down positive aspects. Sometimes when we are in a state of whatever you want to call this, we can't even write sentences. And so writing the positive aspects were invaluable to me. So I would write about my children, my friends, flowers, bees, butterflies, rainbows, fireplaces, hot cocoa, everything in my life, music, certain concertos. I would just write every positive aspect. And even when I was in a bad moment, so I would carry and I actually have one that I'm carrying. I would find a small, it doesn't have to be anything really big. I would carry a small, like, journal. You can see this is very, very small and it's thin. And I would pull out my pen and paper. So I'd be having a stressful moment. I'm at a doctor's appointment. I'm in anxiety. I would pull out my journal and I would start to write positive aspects. And this practice absolutely changed my life. I would recommend it to anybody who is going through hard times, is to just start with writing these positive aspects. Positive aspects. I mean, they turn into things that you appreciate, and they start with just the positive about life, because life is actually amazing. And I did want to talk a little bit, just because I have a little bit more time, about how this whole thing really brought me back to God. It brought me back to dependence on the love of God in every given moment. Because as it turned out, during this time, all I wanted to do was live. I mean, really live. I just really wanted to live without pain, live with freedom, live doing what I wanted to do instead of what I had to do. I was really wanting to live that way, and that's how it ended up. Actually, it was a longer journey than I was expecting, because now is when I'm really really stepping into that. But I was also, about a year ago, really in that space as well. So I appreciate you. Thank you for watching, and I will be posting more soon. Okay, bye.